Hi, this is John Walker from Lakat TV, and today we're talking about cruising. So, going to do some cruise tips for beginners. We're going to cover the budget, the prices, the options you might buy. What does embarkation mean? What's debarkation mean? What are the ports of call? Those are the stops you make, things you have to consider when you're selecting a cruise. Well, let's start with that number one item, budget. What does a cruise cost? So let's take some look at what cruises actually cost. Now, all the examples for the pricing of these cruises are Royal Caribbean, March 2019. Now let's talk about the cost of the cruise. Now, if you look online, you're going to find all type of prices. But realistically, cruises can range anywhere on the very low end from $300 to on the high end as much as $2,000 and $3,000. A lot depends on the room you pick and the length of the cruise. Now, one of the most popular cruises probably selected is the 7-day Caribbean cruise. That's probably one of the most popular, the 7-day Caribbean. But in this list here, I'm just showing you some of the prices. These are the prices for an Ocean View Royal Caribbean. And now here's a Central Park View balcony. I'll explain later what these rooms are. And here's a Central Park View balcony again, the cost, $886. A Boardwalk View balcony, $906. And this was on the Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Sea. These rooms. Many people love an Ocean View balcony. These go for $1,000. And also you have to realize time is very important when you go. Here's a large balcony, $1,183. And we get into suites. It was very hard to even find rates for the junior suite. So here's a suite for $2,428. This is a 1-bedroom. And as you move up, you can see you can go up as high as $6,000 and more dollars. But keep in mind, the farther out you book, usually the better prices. Now, if you really want to save some money, try to book as far as in advance as possible. Here's an example of some prices 1 year in advance. Interior rooms, you can see how the prices decline. Here's the outside view, $819. And then we come up on the balcony. Remember, the balcony was over $1,000, now $858, about $150 to $200 savings. Suites have almost dropped $400. So book out far in advance to get your best prices. Now it's time to pick the cruise. And you're going to see there's several factors you want to consider when picking a cruise. One factor you want to consider is your embarkation point, or your embarkation port or departure port. Where's the cruise leave from? And this is important because for some people, they like driving to the cruise. Others fly. And of course, you will have to factor in how much does the airfare cost. Well, the second point you may want to consider is the length of the cruise. How long of a cruise will you take? A 3-day, a 5-day, 6, 7, or even longer? Don't recommend short cruises for first-time cruisers. I've said this before, and the reason is by the time you get on the ship the first day, get everything unpacked, and it's evening now, and you're in the second day, third day. On these large ships, it may take you 2 or 3 days just to get comfortable. So really consider a 6 or 7 day if you're a first-time cruiser. Let's talk about tips. Yes, tips are part of your expenses on the cruise, and tipping helps the workers and it really helps you receive good service. You may find tips vary by cruise line, so I'm going to talk about the cruise we were on with Royal Caribbean. With Royal Caribbean, they charge you $14.50 a day per passenger. So for two, that's $29 a day, and it totals to $203, and this is added to your account. There is an option for you to prepay your tips, and that gives you a discount of $2. So that equates to $28 total for two people. But you pay your tips at the time you make your reservation. So what happens if you don't like the service? Well, you can reduce the daily amount by going to customer service. Or if you really just love the service, you can increase the amount. At the end of the cruise, they're going to give you a couple of envelopes if you would like to leave some cash or something extra for someone you really like. Or you can go to customer service and just write it up and leave someone an extra tip. Your room key will serve as your credit card when you're on ship for any additional purchases you may make. And here is what your room card looks like. In another video, I'll explain to you what that Coca-Cola sticker is for. Now I'm going to talk about something that's critical. Your cost for getting to the cruise ship. You're probably either going to have to drive or fly. You could even take a train, but I doubt it. And you may need a hotel to get to the cruise ship. And I will add another important tip. Arrive one day early if you're not driving. Even if you're driving, I would plan on arriving one day early in case you get delayed. The ship will leave without you. You can call them, you can text them, you can email them. They will not wait if you're late. So plan on spending probably at least one night in a hotel going to the ship so that you get there good and early, maybe the next day or a reasonable time the next day. So remember, you have the cost of getting to the cruise ship. I just want to take the time to give a shout out to the shuttle service Go Port Canaveral. You can look them up online, goportcanaveral.com. They go from the Orlando airport to the cruise terminal at Cape Canaveral. And then they bring you back from the cruise ship to the Orlando airport. What we did was we stayed in the hotel. I found a hotel that had a shuttle from the airport and back. So I did have to return to the airport the next day, went to the Go Port Canaveral terminal, signed in. I had already prepaid. Just an excellent service. Just wanted to give a shout out to them because you will need probably a shuttle if you're staying in Orlando to go from Orlando to the cruise terminal. Or you can pick a hotel in Port Canaveral. But I will tell you, the hotels in Port Canaveral are much more expensive than a hotel you can get in Orlando. Next now, what ship will you go on? And this is important. Don't think they're all just big and beautiful and wonderful. Check out cruisecritic.com. Cruise Critic can tell you how old the ships are. They have reviews. They have ratings. Trust me, I would not sail, especially my first time, on a 2-star cruise ship. So be sure to pick your cruise ship carefully. For this cruise, and this is actually our third one, we had not been on one in a long time, so we chose Oasis of the Seas by Royal Caribbean. If you want to know the primary reason we chose it, we wanted something that was a little bit different, and you see how the layout is different with these interior balconies that can look out on the back of the ship, and you still get a view of the water, and you get some other views as well. I'll talk about Oasis of the Seas in another video. Our fourth point is ports of call. Ports of call are your destinations. Where's your ship going to stop? And you may want to choose that carefully too, because maybe you already been to some of these areas on another type of vacation. Or maybe you would like one over the other. And you can investigate what's in each port by just Googling it or searching it under travel or visiting one of the ports of call. So remember that. Look at your ports of call as well. You can purchase. There are drink packages, which include soda and alcohol packages. There's special restaurants, and there's shopping. And then when you go ashore at your ports of call, there are excursions. Okay, you remember that little Coca-Cola sticker? Now with that Coca-Cola sticker, it gives me the right to have free soda. So I have a special cup. I go to one of these machines, I get free soda. Now, if someone tries to go to that machine and they don't have a cup, they get this little notice, cup not found. How cool is that? Only people with the cup can get free soda. And I also could go to any bar on the ship, and get free soda with my cup. That's what's called the soda package, and you can buy it, or it may come with some other packages you purchase. For example, we purchased the BOGO dinner package, and we got the cups included with the BOGO dinner package. Then there are alcohol packages, and I'm not going to try to cover all the alcohol packages, but I will say this: for any drink or alcohol packages, if there are 2 people in the room, both people have to buy them. You see the approximate cost of the premium alcohol package, which allows you to drink to your heart's content, which may not be a good idea, but that's the premium. It would run you about $770 for the entire trip. I will say there are probably more bars and clubs than you can go to. The champagne bar shown here is just one example of the many on the Oasis class of ships. Large ships have more than one. It's much more than that one bar you saw on the Love Boat. Let's talk about food options on the ship. Well, you probably, of course, have heard about the free buffets. That's one option. Then they have the free dining room options. But did you know there are some options you can pay for that give you a different variety and maybe even I would say really just a better quality of food? Those are the paid restaurants. Yes, ships have paid restaurants you can opt up to. Now, you may not want to order the super packages, but there are different packages you can order. For example, on the Royal Caribbean Oasis class ships, there are 7 specialty restaurants, and these restaurants do charge a fee, but you might really want to look at it. And you can buy specials they have. You may be able to get the BOGO, which is buy one, get one free, or you can buy the specialty 3 for $99 deal. So there are different deals out there, but definitely look at going to one of the specialty restaurants because you won't find this food anywhere else. On the ships, there are many shopping options. Back in the day, there was probably just one large gift store. Now, as you can see, there are many on the larger ships, from Tiffany, Coach, Kate Spade, Michael Kors, others, jewelry stores, $10 items. So prepare to shop when you come on ship. So you might want to budget for shopping. And hey guys, I didn't even get to mention the Vitality Spa. You can go to the spa, you can get whatever treatment you might find in a spa back in the States, from massages, manicures, hair, whatever you need to do, they can do it there at the spa. So that's another option. Something you probably want to budget some money for is spa treatment. The last thing we're going to talk about, or the last expense, is port of call excursions. Yes, those are little trips you can take when you go ashore, and many are hosted by the ship, or the ship arranges them for you. And the cost probably runs between $45 and $150. Now, believe it or not, some people will not get off the ship. Others will only stay in the little tiny port area that has shops. But there are great excursions you can take, from zip lines to rafting to just time at the beach. So look at the excursions. You might want to sign up for one or two, or just touring. There's some beautiful ones that just tour the places you go to. You'll see some great areas maybe you never thought of going to. So definitely plan excursions into your vacation or your cruise package cost. Okay, we're at the end of the video. We're going to do a little wrap up or a little review in the end. And there's probably something I forgot. Just like when I was doing this video, I was thinking about, wow, John, you forgot to mention pictures. Yeah, budget a little money for pictures. Maybe at least $45, $50 for pictures. Maybe on the high side, a couple $100. In fact, the funny thing, on our first cruise, we spent more money on pictures than on anything else. So budget a little bit for pictures, because you probably don't want to take some beautiful pictures, have great memories of your wonderful cruise. Now let's look at the budget first. The first three items on the budget you can't avoid. You have to pay in one way or another. One, the cruise. It's going to cost you between $500 and $2,000, probably average $1,100. Travel to the port. That's your airplane, your shuttle, and if you need a hotel, that's probably going to run you an average about $500, maybe even $600. And then tips. You can't avoid the tips. You got to pay the tips. That's about $100 a person. Now let's look at some optional items. The next items are all optional. You could not have them at all. Now the optional items are items you can either include in your budget or take out. There's such things as drink packages, which might run you $20 to $350 depending on how much you drink. Then you have restaurants for the specialty restaurants. I really highly recommend that you go to at least one or two of the specialty restaurants. You have excursions. Those are pre-planned trips that you're going to take when you go ashore, and you book those through the cruise company. You also have shopping. You put the shopping number in. And finally, you have pictures. And pictures, once again, you have some control. You don't need any pictures, or you might get one or two or the whole package. Okay, the first number. On the high end, we're looking at a total of $5,200 per passenger, or $10,400 for two, and just blew out the budget. $2,000 for the cruise, $1,000 for transport, airfare, and getting to the port. Tips, $150 each. Drink, $350. And oh, by the way, for the drink package, if one orders the drink package in a cabin, both have to order the drink package. Restaurant, $300. Excursions, $1,000. Picture, $300. Or pictures, $300. Wi-Fi, $100. Total, $5,200. Now we're looking at what the average person might spend. So we're looking at $1,100 for the cruise, $600 for airfare, shuttle to the port, $100 in tips, $70 for drinks, $100 for the restaurants, that's the specialty restaurants, $100 for shore excursions, $100 for pictures, and $70 for Wi-Fi. Now we're looking at Mr. or Mrs. Super Frugal. And here's what we're talking about. $500 for the cruise, $0 for transport, $100 for tips, drink 0, restaurant 0, excursion 0, pictures 0. Total $600 for two $1,200 or $1,200. Can you really do it that frugal? Yes, you can. And there are people who do it who drive or live close to the cruise terminal and they just get dropped off by a friend. And believe it or not, that can be done. Even in our area, we have a port. We have a couple cruises that leave out here a year. So my wife and I, could easily get someone to drive us. In fact, we have driven friends and dropped them off at the cruise ship. So yes, it can be done. Very frugal, maybe $600 a person. Okay, before we move on, before the tips and tricks, something I forgot to mention, I told you I would forget something. Insurance. Travel insurance is critical. So you want to get travel insurance. It's not that expensive. It's about $50 to $100 per person. You may be able to find it even for less. But before you run out there and buy travel insurance, most of us are probably paying with a credit card. American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Discovery to buy our cruise. Check with your credit card, see what travel insurance they offer when you book a vacation. A lot of times they have a very good travel insurance program and it's not necessary to buy a secondary travel insurance. Now it's time for some tips and tricks. Tip 1, do your research. There's a lot of information on the website, and a good website is cruisecritic.com, and I am not affiliated with them at all. Tip 2, first-time cruisers, avoid short duration cruises. Opt for a 6 or 7 day cruise, gives you time to become adjusted or acclimated to the ship. Tip number 3, check out the ship's customer ratings. You can do that by going to cruisecritic.com again. There is just no way I want to get on a 2-star ship or even a 3-star. I want 4, 4.5, or 5 stars to be the rating for my cruise ship. Check the itinerary of the cruise. Maybe it's somewhere you don't really want to go, or maybe it's somewhere you really want to go. So be sure to check the itinerary. Book early and save big. That's tip 5. Book early and save big. On the low end, you might save $200. On the high end, you could save $600, even $1,000. Tip 6, try some of the specialty restaurants. One of the reasons people love cruises is the food, but you're going to find that the food in the specialty restaurants is definitely a step 1, 2, 3 above the normal dining room, and definitely is much better than the buffet. So tip 6, remember, try some of the specialty restaurants. Tip 7, pay your tips in advance if possible. Usually you'll get a discount for paying your tips in advance. So go ahead, tip 7, pay those tips up front. Tip 8, you can buy other specials up front too. So look for emails from the cruise line. You can buy restaurant specials, drink specials, Wi-Fi specials, excursion specials. There's many packages you can buy in advance. Tip 9, watch YouTube videos about your cruise in particular in advance, or your cruise line. You'll really learn a lot and benefit you, and you'll probably more quickly adjust to your ship, especially if you're new. Tip 10, have a great time. Chris and I certainly did. We enjoyed our cruise. I hope you enjoy your cruise as well. Hey, this has been John Walker for LaCotte TV. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions about cruising, any questions about Oasis of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, just drop me a question down below and I'll be happy to answer it for you. And stay tuned for my next videos. I'm going to take you through the Oasis of the Sea. This is an Oasis class ship by Royal Caribbean. I'm going to take you through the restaurants. I'm going to take you through the entertainment on the ship. So please stay tuned and enjoy the next videos.